Alrighty, I know it may be hard to believe, but week 9 is here. So I'd like to go over the work that you have for Monday, and there's only 2 items for Thursday because it's really the end of the class. And then I covered in week 8, so hopefully you caught this in the attendance and in the Thursday video. I talked about just the end of class and how things are going to work. So hopefully at this point, if you know, because this post that I'm doing, this video, normally I do instruction video, but I'm only doing an attendance post here. So you'll just reply to that. So hopefully you'll get right the timelines of that. The project is due on the 8th. You can turn it in early. I suggest you turn it in early. And that way, if there's something that you missed, I will review it. And you can resubmit, but you can only resubmit until the due date. There is no work that can be submitted once I wake up on the 9th, which is a Friday morning. So just to be clear, let's go through and look at these requirements. Remember, some of you, and I actually don't think this semester anybody has chosen to do the course material. Most of you are doing private or vanity or other kind of project sites, right? So, but it's still, you need the 4 to 5 categories, just as a reminder, right? So these are, in my example site, these are broken into 4 categories, of which each of them have subpages associated with them, right? And so a total of 21 pages, including your index page, right? So somebody asked me at one point, do you evenly distribute? Yes, I'd like to see you fairly evenly distribute that. So if I was to say over 4, every item should have about 5 subpages. If it's over 5 menu items, then everyone should have about 4. Okay, so that's that part of it. Each page needs to have a copy of your content. Now, this is from the course if you chose this, but most of you have chosen other sites, so you got to come up with that, right? And then each page needs 25 words. Now, the index page needs a little more, but each of them needs some content, 25 words, right? And it needs an associated image. It needs a unique title, right? So in my example, right, just a background image is a unique image. The title is up in here, right? So, but in the code, we've looked at where the title is. It's in the header, okay? Oh, let me go back here. So all content must be updated, or if you're not using it, then remove it. So let me give you an example then, since we didn't really talk about it a huge amount. So in my example, I updated the bottom to include my name and then 2020. But I did notice today, and this is an example, like privacy terms and FAQs. Now, these are important things to have in a website. But in this case, because I'm not using them, and how do I know? Well, if I click and it goes nowhere into a menu, an anchor link, not a menu, I know that that is not content. So what I do is go through there and get rid of that, because every time I see something that has not been updated into the site, then that'll be a few points off. So don't do that. Right, all pages. This is the one I just talked about. You do need an associated image, and then write 200 words of original content. And this 75 is a repeat, but for each of your index page, 200, and then 75 for each one. And then, of course, you have to push this to your GitHub repo. So now, let's be clear. Now, in this case, I'm running it locally, right? But when you go to when I go and you'll supply the URL, right? So it should be whatever and this is the base, what we'd call the root of that site. So I should not see a link to a subdirectory that would be your template or something else, because you should have built your template into here, okay? So now for this, I have a little bit older version of the site, no big deal. The other thing is, make sure that your menu is not doing what we call anchor links, that they actually are going to physical pages. Now, again, this is the little older version. And that would be an example of, if you had that, I'd mark off points for that, because what that means is that you didn't build the work the physical file that you're linked to here, right? So make sure you do that. And that's what I will do is I look at your site, I'll look at your title page, sorry, your title tag. I'll look, did you do the content? Look at the image, look at the menu, did it all work? And then I will click through each of your pages to make sure they were working and have no broken links and all the content is updated. But that's the key. I can't grade this, right? If you don't push this out, and then in your submission, you just give me your GitHub.io site. Now, this is important. This all counts for 20%, but I almost want to say, not almost, I can't grade it if you don't push it, right? So that's part of it. And then you'll see me reply back saying I can't, but I can't imagine how I could even do any of this stuff without that. So that's why as I'm reading this, I'm like, I probably need to break that one out. But here's the deal too. You get to grade yourself. How well did you meet my requirements? And, a little more detail here is better than no detail at all, because it doesn't really show me that you considered all the requirements and how well you met them. Okay. And you can there's a submission box. You can do the grading thing as far as giving your grade. Okay. So I think that's, again, right? So making sure everything works, everything's updated. It's got content, it's got an image, it's got a working menu. That working menu is actually the pages. The sooner you submit, the better off you can change anything in case I find it. Okay, so coming back here, so that's kind of, we're starting with the end thing and when it's due. In this case, so let's start back up at the beginning. So again, we have Monday items. So in this case, I've changed this content last semester and it turned out pretty well, right? Is to watch these two videos. I really enjoy this guy's content because he focuses on projects, and this is something you can think of in the future you might consider, and I would recommend, especially if you're out there trying to get your first web dev job, is how to gain experience, because that catch 22 of you can't get a job until you have some experience, and how do you do that? And I think he does a really nice job. And then, right, what mistakes can often be on a junior devs. Now, a junior developer is a term for an entry-level developer position. So here, in this case, watch both of these, do first dev job.markdown MD file, and that will be your submission there. I've thrown at the end of here another, opportunity for you to post about your progress. And in this case, I want you to think about your content strategy. Like, where are you going to get this content? Are you going to have to write it yourself? Is there somewhere else? If there is somewhere else you're getting content, then I want you to say that in this reply, right? So, and again, I don't think at this point I remember anyone doing the course material. Most of them are doing personal sites. So this becomes, as I said before, even a bigger issue here. So what you want to do is think about where, am I going to write this stuff, or is there a place I could glean some of the content? Now, some of you, and I know one of your menus may be about this course, since talking about originally, I said that's okay to do. Right. So on that page, you could talk about where you're going to glean some, and glean is a term where you go through and get some content. But again, most of the stuff, it's 75 words is not that much for each page, quite frankly. It should be pretty easy to do that. So in this reply, you just need to give us an update, right? So talk about your content strategies and give us an update on your progress. And if you do those two things, you'll get the full points here. Write 150 words and no replies required. So again, it's that trying to help you by having items that work towards your project. Machine learning is something that we are going to hear more and more about, and I at least want you to have introduction here. So I've changed the video this semester, and this is a little longer. 8 minutes is not that long, though, quite frankly. But I think if you watch, like, to hear, you'll get an idea, hopefully, by talking. And I've seen this guy talk before, and he's kind of funny and he's pretty casual. I think he's pretty dry too sometimes, but he works for Microsoft, and I think he does a really nice job of getting giving some basic idea of what is machine learning. So watch the video and then do some additional research, right? And your replies, tell us your thoughts on ML and other things that you've researched about this topic, and then provide links, write 150 words, and do 2 replies. Okay, so that's the work for Monday of the last week of our class. And then here we go. For Thursday, the night the thing is due, I do give you one last lecture. And in this case, actually, I changed this. I made this of your choice. So, and actually, you could use lynda.com, but I don't anymore use lynda.com. So it could really be from YouTube here. Right, so find 30 minutes of video to consume. Now, related to web development, right? Related to something around this topic that we've been covering, So do that, right? And then in your private repo, create mychoice.md. Now, by the way, it's really important in your notes or in your response, I would say, is to provide me a link to the video, right? So that I can go check out the video that you found. Because I find it actually kind of interesting to go and see what students are thinking about and what they would want to learn next. Okay. So again, this last video is really up to you what you want to do. Do relate it to the course content in some way. And if you're wondering, does it relate? It probably doesn't. It should be at this point pretty clear what relates. And then, do headings and outlines to show the concepts covered. And even if the video is a little longer, try to also find more current video and not older video. That's one of the things I constantly do. Is if I can find a better, newer video, I will, because there are definitely changes that happen. Okay, so provide a link to the URL for that one, and that is it. Okay, again, if you have any late work, it needs to be submitted before I wake up the next morning. If you can submit early, do that. But know that after the next morning, the morning of the 9th, once I get up, no longer will I accept work for this class. So make sure you're setting yourself up for success. So in this reply to the attendance that I'm recording here, is there any final questions you would like to see me handle for you for this week, or in general, maybe some other related concepts? But of course, focus on the course content, and I'll put the, watch and reply up here. And now the only thing about this is normally we have until Friday at noon, but in this case, the reply will be due. I put on the 8th, it'll be really when I wake up that morning, because I want to be able to submit everything into the campus so that I'm complete with you all. And though, hopefully you're all clear about this at this point. If not, you're going to reach out either in reply here or directly or on our Discord. All right, have a great one. Thanks for joining me here. I very much enjoyed having you in this course. I do need to take my glasses off. I just want to thank you. This is always a fun course for me. Like I said, I think I redid 95% of this course content. And I know sometimes the first version of a rewrite can, be a little bit of fraught with questions, but it seems like at this point, at least, we've navigated it. And I thank you for your time and attention, and really, I hope to see you in a further class, future class as well. All right. Peace out.